You're listening to Wed Talks with Wed. I'm your host Vedangi from White Wave Events. We are here to talk all things weddings. So let's jump in. Today's episode is about style of communication that you want to opt well decidingly express to all the vendors and the team that you have hired. So let's dive in. When I say style of communication, I mean as a couple, what is your preference? Calls, texts, emails? From the moment you start interviewing your vendors to hiring them, and then during the process, how do you want to communicate with them? Is it a video meeting? Is it an email, text, call? You might want to communicate this with them in advance. Your decorator is somebody who you will be extensively talking with for 4 to 5 months from the time you have hired them to the wedding day, because of the style, the vision, the things to change, probably make twerks, because a lot of things keep changing until the end of the wedding. So what is the best way to communicate everything is something you for sure want to come up with and express that, okay, I'm comfortable with emails, are you? And probably just stick with that, so that during the whole process there are no errors, there are no miscommunications, there are no sensitive or stressful situations or scenarios to tackle between yourself as a couple and the vendor. You want to keep it as peaceful and amicable as possible. Things do happen sometimes and you want to express and resolve the issue sooner as possible. But again, if things are communicated and some rules are set in stone, then the process becomes much easier. This was just an example of how things go with the decorator. Your DJ, MC are the people who you probably talk with in the last 1 month of your wedding after you hire them. Your priest, your officiant, again, can be one last month. Again, you want to be as communicative as possible about video meetings, emails, etc., so that nothing is getting slipped out of the way. You also want to talk with your venue about everything related to your catering services, timelines, floor plans, final walkthroughs. Final walkthroughs with all your vendors will also happen in the one last month of your wedding. How you want to do that in person, you want to do it virtually. You might want to talk about all this during your hiring process, because if it is in person, which I as a planner recommend that for the venue and for the decorator, it is always a in-person final walkthrough, such that it is very informative. Even if it's a floor plan is communicated, still in-person experience to it makes it set in stone, makes it more valuable to the vendor to know what goes where on the day of, and less stress for you to communicate things over email or video call, because things can get miscommunicative. Oh, I thought this, etc. Those moments can happen. But for the decorator to know that they have to account in an in-person walkthrough is very important, because if they haven't and you ask it at the end of the planning process, sometimes there's a no as an answer. And at that point, communicating everything virtually becomes a little tough. So these are some things you probably want to cater into and communicate it, how you want to communicate it. Set some ground rules, set some patterns in which you prefer having things, having deliverables, having all the chain of trails of messages and everything happening. This goes with wedding parties also, this goes with family also. Letting them know that you will be sending out emails for anything regarding wedding planning and decision making. You also probably want to make a separate email and not use your personal emails, like your two names and wedding at whatever, and use that email for all meetings, for all communications, for all contract signing and communications with wedding parties, and all communications with your family, etc., such that everything is in one place when you have to look for something. And it really helps during overwhelming situations and stressful situations. But if anything were to go south, it's always best to resolve issues as soon as possible and come to a consensus. Again, the style of communication comes to key, and if you know your vendor's preference, you know how is the best way to probably communicate things when things get sensitive. Thank you for listening to our episode, and stay tuned for our next episodes coming out every week.